We are at the 2011 Dallas International Film Festival talking to Julia Bennett, one of the producers of The Prosecutor, which is here in the documentary competition. Thank you so much for coming to Dallas. We're thrilled to have you here.
Thank you, Carrie. And we are so honored to be here there's some fine documentaries at the festival. And this is really our North American premiere. The film premiered at the International Documentary Festival in Amsterdam in November, but it's a huge thrill because this is the big night for us in North America before the broadcasts.
Sure. Well, tell the viewers at home a little bit about the film. It deals with the first international criminal courts.
That's right. A lot of people are familiar with war crimes and truth and reconciliation committees and tribunals, the war in Yugoslavia. They're all temporary tribunals set up by the Security Council by different sovereign countries to direct people to take a moment, look at crimes that have long been passed and executed and do something about them and get people over it. And this court was a totally different thing. It was created without some major nations, including the US, which was very opposed to it, smaller countries wanting a permanent prosecutor who would go and investigate war crimes when they were still going on. So we discovered that the hero, if you will, of our film, Luis Moreno-Ocampo, was a guy little known to anyone a few years ago, and now he's really known as the guy who's trying to arrest President al-Bashir of Sudan and could be going after Muammar Gaddafi.
Certainly. So when this project began, was there any particular international incident that really inspired it, that you said, hey, we need to be here documenting this, somebody needs to be taking a look at this?
Well, it's interesting because a lot of what happens internationally and between countries happens behind the scenes. It's complicated, it's international bureaucracy, different legal systems. We don't know a lot about what happens, but all of a sudden, a couple of years ago, everyone was talking about Darfur. You saw celebrities and other people getting involved. How could such a thing happen? We had the Rwandan genocide. Heavens, we had Nuremberg and we had World War II so long ago. What have people learned? What's happening? Can't we do something about this? And there was that feeling. And the one place that didn't have a police force, had a bunch of lawyers, many of them, Canadians and others from countries, not powerful countries, trying to investigate and maybe arrest war criminals while they were still allegedly committing war crimes. So we thought, all of a sudden, the criminal court seemed like a perfect place to go. They were also starting their first trial after many, many years of punctilious research and evidence gathering. There was a Congolese warlord and an alleged Congolese warlord who fought against him, and they were both coming to trial at the same time. So we went over there and were there for the first trial of Thomas Lubanga, who is still on trial, and now the defense has just, I think, concluded presenting their evidence about him.
Was there anything that happened while you were overseas that really stuck out to you? Any incidents at the trial or while you were doing field work?
Well, it's interesting because we did a little bit of traveling. The shoot has scenes in Chad, which is where the Darfuri refugees came to, and they all knew Luis Moreno-Ocampo's name. Many people quite rightly say, without a police force and with trials that take years and years to conclude, what really perhaps can the court do for refugees or victims who feel that there was a crime committed in the past? These people didn't feel that way. They were kind of like, yeah, we've lost everything. We've got a couple of goats. We're 200,000 miles away from where we should be, or in their case, much closer. They just wanted to see someone acknowledge that there was something wrong done and that justice. So we found this everywhere we went. The first trial days of Thomas Lubanga, there were young child soldier witnesses who were brought up under complete privacy and confidentiality protection but they flew up on a plane from Africa testifying against a guy who it would be like testifying against an organized crime leader in your own hometown or city. These are people who took huge risks. And the first day we were there, we knew that this child soldier was there, former child soldier, now a teenager, was there with the parent who'd rescued him from a child soldier encampment, a place where he was held. And there were many other youths who testified, male and female, in the trial. And this person was visibly scared, even though his identity was protected from everyone who was watching on the web. These trials are broadcast on the web. The perpetrator, the alleged defendant, Thomas Lubanga, could see who he was in the trial, and everyone in the the observers gallery, where we couldn't take cameras, we couldn't take anything except a pencil and paper. These women beside me who were there from another country to see this, we were all just shocked. We thought, oh my gosh, we can see the risk that these witnesses take. And this is the interesting thing about any war crime. It's one thing to talk about how do you get restitution or figure out what happened or trace back the entrails of what happened when you have a Milosevic in jail and it's all done with. This was very different, and that the enormity of that and the huge responsibility of that is felt by the lawyers there and by this prosecutor who's the heart of the film.
Sure. Did you run into any obstacles when you wanted to do some filming overseas? Were there any roadblocks, either political or social, that people said, no, you can't do this?
Well, we did, but we kind of surmounted them because I think the prosecutor saw the value of the public knowing, and I think we're in a bit of a digital information age. When I come to the Dallas Film Festival, I run into people who are Hispanic Americans and American students of law who want to work all over the world. They're aware of these issues. It's a digital world where these situations are much more apparent. The first day of the trial was watched in the Democratic Republic of Congo on a huge bedsheet, but it was watched, the video that was taking place in the court in the Netherlands. So for us, the UN bureaucracy that would normally say, there's no cameras, too bad, you know, how many times have you seen behind the scenes at a huge court? Like, in this case, we managed to get through that. We had to agree that if we showed scenes that would put victims at risk or lawyers put their evidence gathering at risk, and overturn the trials, that we would take it out. In the end, we followed those guidelines, and the film was, we were given quite good access.
Sure. And before we go, do you have plans in terms of distribution, broadcasts, or outreach programs with this film? What are the goals?
Well, it's great because we're talking with Icarus Films, who's our distributor in the States, who are a terrific, long-time distributor of documentary films. We want to reach out to everyone from law students and political science students and social and newcomer agencies to people who are trying to teach this even in high school civics. How do you actually figure out if you can make an idealistic assessment of guilt or justice, or is it a pragmatic world where you have to let power and whoever's the big guy kind of take? And that's really the question in the film. So we want to do outreach. We've been in touch with Dedman Law School here, which is great. And we're going to work with Icarus Films. And we have a broadcast coming up in Britain on BBC's Storyville, and in Canada on TV Ontario and SRC, our Société Radio-Canada, all in the next few months. And we will go from there.
Well, that's terrific. Congratulations on your success already. And is there a website, Facebook, other social media where people can find out more?
Absolutely. If you want to find more about Prosecutor, if you go to www.nfb.ca, that's the National Film Board of Canada. They have a terrific page up. Also, we produced it with the National Film Board, which is a great cultural agency in Canada, and we are an independent producer. White Pine Pictures, and that's www.whitepinepictures.com.
Well, thank you so much for being here, Julia Bennett. It's an important message that you're bringing. It's an important film, and we appreciate your efforts. We appreciate, just the courage of your crew going out after a story like this. Thank you very much for being here.
Oh, you're most welcome. It's really entertaining, too. It's actually, so we had a great response at last night's screening.
Great. Glad to hear it. Congratulations and enjoy your week. Have fun in Dallas.
Thank you.